is Jim Narden, really James Dwayne, and I'm Courtney's grandpa. I'm 74 years old. My grandpa, when I was born, my grandpa was already 70 years old because I was the 8th child in my family. And my grandpa died when I was probably 14, and he was 88, 89 years old. On our side of the family, we have longevity. My uncles and aunts all lived to be late 80s and early 90s. Our family, on our side of the family, we came from France, Paris, France, both my great-great-grandpa and my great-great-grandma. They came from Paris, France. My great-great-grandpa was Lieutenant John James, and down through the history of our family, there's a lot of Johns. And on my wife's side of the family, they came from Holland, and they have a John, cousins, uncles, grandpa. They were all Johns also. My great-great-grandfather was born in 1792, and he came to America, lived in Detroit, and he cleared the land. And he lived in a tent, like the Indians do, in a wigwam, for approximately a year.
Around Grand Rapids area.
And before he sent for his children. But my great-great-grandfather fought under Napoleon, and that was during the French War with the Russians. And approximately 2 million Frenchmen went off to war in Russia, and only 500,000 came back. What the Russians did in the evening as the French were retreating is they fought with the people on the tail end. So they never went into a skirmish with a full-size battle, but they just picked off the easy pickings when dusk came. My father, he lived to be 95. He had a heart attack when he was 60, and the doctors told him at that time he better get his life in order because he wasn't going to last 6 months. My father stopped smoking and everything, exercising, lost some weight. He lived to be 95, and the doctor that told my father to get into condition, he died within 6 months, and he was a lot younger than my father. What else would you like to know, Courtney?
So he lived here in Michigan when he came over?
Yes.
Okay.
They lived in Detroit area, and there is a church in Detroit that is called Narden Park. It's part of the inner city, and they came with brothers and that, and one of them lived in Byron Center, and another lived along the Grand River, which is Butterworth Drive now, and he had cows and pigs and everything. He was a farmer. That was my Uncle Frank.
Lieutenant John James lived in a tent when he first came over, and he was clearing the land because it was all woods and forest here in Michigan. It wasn't a state yet. And then he built a cabin, and when he built the cabin, it took him a year, and then he sent for his wife and 7 children.
All right, what's your next question now?
Just do you know when they came?
Not exactly. He was born in 1792 and he died in 1874, so that would mean he was 82 years old. So he came someplace between the time of his birth and the time of his death.
There's a poem written about him by I. Ransom Sanford, and it was written in 1874, and it talks all about his fighting with the Russians and coming here.